You ever get that feeling someone is watching you? I don't mean a glance. I mean that cold, suffocating feeling in your gut, like someone's eyes are burning into the back of your head. It was 2019, and I was a sophomore in college. I did babysitting on the side to pay off my car, 3 or 4 nights a week. Most of the time it was easy. The kids were asleep, and I was just sitting there, scrolling on my phone, waiting for the parents to come home. But one night, that's when everything changed. That's when I learned how quickly a normal, boring night could turn into a nightmare. It was around 8 p.m. when I pulled into the driveway. The house looked normal, just like any other house I'd babysat at. The parents were friendly, quiet, and soft-spoken. They were always polite when they left, reminding me to keep the kid asleep. No big deal. They mentioned the kid was already asleep when I arrived, so I didn't even have to worry about bedtime. That's one of the perks of babysitting. A good, peaceful night where you're not dealing with cranky kids. I said my quick hello, and they left. I didn't even ask where they were going, but I assumed it was a date night. They went out late often enough. No big deal. I went inside, put my bag down, and did my usual walkthrough of the house. Checking everything, making sure doors were locked, making sure nothing was out of place. Then I sat in the living room. It was so quiet. The parents always said, "Feel free to watch TV or cook something," but I usually just sat on my phone. Time passed slow when you're waiting for someone to come home. I did a check on the kid. He was fine, still sound asleep. About 45 minutes into my shift, my phone buzzed. It was the mom. She sounded confused when she asked if I had called her. I said, "No, I didn't call." She explained she had received a call from an unsaved number. But when she picked up, no one said anything. The call was silent. I reassured her everything was fine and nothing strange had happened. She thanked me and hung up. I thought nothing of it at the time. Parents, they get paranoid sometimes, right? But now that I think about it, I wonder if something was wrong from the start. About 20 minutes later, I noticed something odd. I saw headlights shine through the cracks in the blinds. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe it was just a neighbor pulling into their driveway. But after a couple of minutes, the headlights didn't turn off. I got up, walked over to the window, and peeked outside. There was a car parked across the street. A dark gray sedan, old, rusty, with the windows completely blacked out. For a moment, I didn't notice anything strange. But then I saw him. There was a man standing at the end of the driveway. He was staring at the house. Froze. My heart skipped a beat. Was he just someone lost? Maybe a neighbor? I stayed at the window, not sure what to do. The man looked up at the house, then turned around and slowly walked back to his car. I thought that was the end of it. The car started pulling away, but it didn't drive off quickly. It moved so slowly, like it was still looking at the house. It was creeping me out. The car slowly turned around, drove down the road, and stopped. The headlights stayed on for a moment, like they were just waiting. But after a few minutes, the lights went off, and the car remained still. I stood by the window for a while, waiting for something else to happen. But nothing did. So I thought, maybe it's nothing. Just some weird coincidence. I figured it was probably someone visiting a neighbor, who'd gotten mixed up with the addresses. Another hour passed. Nothing. I decided to turn on the TV, keeping the volume low so I didn't wake the kid. Still, something felt wrong. I kept thinking about that car, about that man. Why had he been staring? Why hadn't he just left? I tried to shake it off. Then it happened. I was sitting in the chair, scrolling through my phone, when I heard a sound. Thump. I wasn't sure what it was at first, but it made my heart race. Then I heard it again. It was coming from the back door. My pulse started pounding in my ears. I stood up, still unsure what to think, but I decided to check on the kid again. As I walked toward the stairs, I heard it again. But this time I saw something. In the corner of my eye, I saw someone. Man. Standing by the back door. His hand was on the handle, pulling at it. He looked straight at me, and when our eyes locked, he didn't stop. He started pulling harder on the door, trying to force it open. That's when panic set in. I turned, sprinted up the stairs, and rushed into the kids' room. I grabbed him, trying to keep him calm. And that's when the thumping got louder. The man wasn't just pulling on the door anymore. He was smashing it, ripping it apart. I didn't have much time. With the kid in my arms, I ran back down the stairs. But when I got to the bottom, I heard one more sound. Sounded like cracking plastic and metal. I turned, my heart stopping for a second. The back door was wide open. And there he was, running at me. In his hand, a knife. I didn't think. I just ran. I burst through the front door and jumped into my car. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely start the engine. Floored it. Backed out of the driveway as fast as I could. As I looked in the rearview mirror, I saw him just standing there, knife in hand, watching me drive away. I called 911, then I called the parents. By the time the cops arrived, he was long gone. And that's when things got even stranger. The parents thanked me for taking care of their son. But after that night, they never hired me again. They stopped responding to my messages. They wouldn't even say hello when I saw them around town. It was like they didn't want to talk about what happened. They didn't want me to find out more. So I did some digging. I couldn't find much, but what I did find, it chilled me to the bone. The mother had been married before. To a man who looked a lot like the guy who had tried to break in. But how could I know for sure? It's been years now, and I still don't know what happened that night. Who that man was, or why he was there. But one thing's for sure, there was something off about that family. Something dark. And I don't think I'll ever know the full truth. If you've ever felt like you were being watched, trust your gut. Because sometimes the people who seem the safest aren't. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and keep your eyes open. You never know who's watching. Have you ever woken up and seen someone in your back seat? 'Cause I have. And I swear, I still don't know how I made it out alive. It started last year. I was doing a solo road trip from Wisconsin to Montana. Long drive, I know. But I planned it all out. Snacks, music, gas stops, everything. My goal was to save time and money by driving straight through the night instead of stopping at a hotel. I left at 7 p.m. First hour was just city and towns. But after that, nothing but open road, trees, empty fields, silence. No streetlights, no buildings, just black sky and headlights on the pavement. About 2 hours in, I noticed I was down to 2/3 of a tank. Not bad, but gas stations were getting farther apart, and I didn't want to risk it. So I pulled into this tiny station, completely empty. For pumps, store was dark and locked. Not a single car around. Started filling up and the gas was coming out. Slow. Like painfully slow. 1 gallon every minute slow. I leaned on the car, watching the numbers crawl. That's when another car came down the road. It was weird. Speed limit was 55, but the car was doing maybe 25. Passed the station, then slowed down. Up. And reversed. Right back into the entrance. Then it pulled into the pump behind me. I figured they missed the turn or really needed gas. Whatever. Didn't think much of it. But after a whole minute, they didn't get out. No sound. No movement. So I glanced over. The guy was already staring at me. Gray flannel. Black jeans. Just staring. I gave a quick, awkward smile and turned back around. But I could feel it. He never looked away. Eventually, I heard him grab the pump and start fueling. I let out a breath. Maybe I was just being paranoid. A minute later, I finished and got ready to go. As I closed my gas cap, I saw him again, still watching me. Those eyes, they were hollow. Like he wasn't tired but drained. But wired, like he was buzzing on caffeine and rage. I got in the car and drove off fast. Creeped out, yeah, but I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 3 hours passed. It started raining. I was 5 hours into the drive and completely exhausted. Tried snacking. Chugged an energy drink. Nothing worked. Around 1 a.m., I decided I needed a break. My gas was low again, so I pulled off at another station. Just like the last one. Dead quiet, dim lights, no people. I filled up, then parked on the side of the building to take a quick nap. Set my alarm for 30 minutes, just enough to recharge. Fell asleep. But I woke up before my alarm. Rain still pounding on the roof. 25 minutes had passed. I sat up, rubbed my face, and looked out through the windshield. There was a car at the pump. Same color, same shape. I leaned forward. Same car. No one in the driver's seat. No one outside. My stomach dropped. Where was he? There was no store to go into. No other cars. No cover. Just him and me. I reached for my phone. It wasn't there. Still on the dashboard. I grabbed for the keys. Turned the engine. Put it in reverse. And that's when I saw him. Not outside. Inside. In my back seat. Eyes glowing in the rearview mirror. Frozen. Focused. I screamed. Threw the door open and fell out into the rain. Car still rolling backward. Ran. Full sprint. Into the woods. Didn't think. Just ran. I didn't hear a door slam. Didn't hear footsteps. I turned around. He was in the driver's seat. My car stopped. Then he drove off. With everything I had. My phone. My bag. My ID. I stood there soaked. Shaking. Then I saw it, his car. Still there. Still running. Door unlocked. Groceries in the back seat. Keys in the ignition. And a phone. Just sitting on the floor. It was locked, but I could still call 911. That's when it hit me. That wasn't his car. It was someone else's. Someone who wasn't as lucky as me. Oops came. Took the car. Traced the groceries, the phone, everything. They think he'd done it before. Waited in the back seat. People start driving. Then whatever he was planning, he'd do it somewhere deeper in the woods. I wasn't supposed to wake up early. I wasn't supposed to see him. And he was never found. Neither was my car. It started when I was 9. My little brother and I were walking our dogs near the front of our street. A white SUV pulled up. A man with curly blonde hair leaned out and waved us over. "Hey, come here." My brother took a step, but I grabbed his arm and pulled him back. We turned and walked away. The man watched us, then turned his SUV around and sped off. A year later, during Halloween, a black sedan followed trick-or-treaters. When a parent approached, it tried to run them over before vanishing down the road. No license plates. Nobody caught it. In 2018, I was pet-sitting for neighbors. 3 visits a day. Morning, afternoon, and night. Their house was on the edge of the neighborhood. You could either walk down the road or cut through the woods. I usually took the road. One night I lost track of time. It was after 10 p.m. when I rushed over. It was pitch black. The dog had held it in. I let him out and waited. When I looked out the window, I saw a black sedan parked near the driveway. It wasn't there when I arrived. I stood there staring at it. No movement. No sound. Cut through the woods on the way back. Rest. Silent. I never saw the black car again. Years passed. Nothing happened. Then quarantine came. To stay active, I ran every day. The main road, past the open fields, winding streets. One day, a white SUV showed up. Same model. Same shape. Same color. Drove slowly just across the road. Matching my pace. I turned down a side street. The SUV didn't follow. The next day it came again. This time it was parked in a driveway. As I passed, it pulled out and followed. Again I turned. Again it left. 10 days in a row it followed me. I changed my running time. 1 hour later, the SUV wasn't there. Relaxed. The next day it returned. Every hair on my body stood up. On the 11th day, I turned into the side street early. I saw a black sedan at the end. Just sitting there. Probably belonged to someone nearby. But as I got closer, I noticed something under it. Figure. Curled up. Hiding. My stomach dropped. Behind me, the white SUV was parked. It didn't move. I was trapped. I turned and ran toward the SUV. Man jumped out. I ran faster than I ever had in my life. His footsteps pounded behind me. He yelled, "Come back. I just want to talk." I didn't stop. I didn't turn. Got home shaking. Blonde curls. The same man from when I was 9. He had come back. After all these years. Still watching. Still waiting. The police couldn't do much. No plates. No proof. I still run sometimes. But never alone. And never without looking over my shoulder. Because I know he's still out there. Waiting.